Good afternoon and welcome to Parents Love Your Children. I'm your host, Toro Suddeth, my co-host, Dr. Charlotta Suddeth. And we have Miss Kalia in here again that's going to share a story with us. But before we do that, what is the wrap-up? What is the wrap-up day for you in school?
My wrap-up day is Friday.
Friday. You said that real clear. Are you getting ready to be done with school?
Yes, I'm so happy.
So what are some of the special activities that you're doing so far? I know that you were supposed to do the
Bike rodeo, but it was raining.
Well, that was canceled. And what else do you got coming up?
Thursday, I'm going on a picnic.
Picnic, and Friday?
It's just a free day.
Free day. Wow. So, wrapping up the school year, and congratulations to you for completing.
5th grade.
And what school are you going to next year?
Blessed Maria.
Blessed Maria, all right. Well, congratulations to you and to everyone that is wrapping up the school year. And the story that you're going to share with us today is entitled, The Day I Saw My Father Cry by Mr. Bill Cosby, one of my favorites. And you can take that away.
Okay. Chapter 1. Hello, friend. I'm Little Bill. One evening, as my family was finishing up supper, the doorbell rang. Hello, pal, I heard Dad say. What can I do for you? I'm your new neighbor, Alan Mills. I live across the street in the blue house. I'm Bill, said Dad. Come on in, and I have a cup of coffee with me and my wife.
Mom rolled her eyes. Your father, she whispered. I could see that she wasn't in the mood for company just then. When Dad and Alan Mills came into the kitchen, my brother Bobby and I said hello to our new neighbor and went to our bedroom.
I started to study for a spelling test. Bobby was playing music, loud music. I had to shout out my spelling words to hear myself think. Noise! N-O-I-S-E. The music got louder. I shouted louder. N-O-I-S-E. The music got even louder.
I went into Bobby's room and shut off the CD player, but I forgot that I didn't have to shout anymore. So what I said came out very loud. I can't learn my spelling words with all this noise, you idiot. And my brother shouted, you can't learn your spelling words because you are the idiot.
He was shouting in my face and poking my chest with his fingers. So I pulled it and he screamed that I broke his finger. Then he pushed me and I pushed him. And before I knew that what was happening, we were wrestling on the floor. One of us was bleeding and 3 grown-ups were standing above us.
I didn't hear what Mom and Dad was saying, but I did hear when Alan Mills said, Merry Christmas. Bobby and I stopped fighting. It was Bobby's nose that was bleeding. It's not Christmas, Bobby said. Yeah, it's not Christmas, I said.
I know, our neighbor said, saying Merry Christmas makes people feel good. So Merry Christmas pretended it's Merry Christmas. Think about why you are fighting. Merry Christmas. Think about why you are angry. Merry Christmas. Think about a better way to solve the problem.
Like getting Bobby to turn off his music, I said. Like getting little Bill out of my new room so I can have some privacy, Bobby said. Good idea, said Alan. Then he turned to Dad. I've got some headphones at home. Is it okay if I go get them and lend them to Bobby?
Sure, Dad said. Then Bobby will be able to hear his music, and little Bill will be able to hear himself think, Alan said. So we had a Merry Christmas, even though it was really the end of January. And from that day on, Alan and my dad were very good friends.
Chapter 2. One day in the spring, Michael, Andrew, Jose, and I was playing 2-on-2 in the park. Jose and Michael against Andrew and me. The game was a close one. We were tired until Michael rebounded the ball. And they rebounded the ball, dribbled back, and made a basket. That doesn't count, Andrew said. You didn't take it all the way out. Yes, I did, Michael said. Yes, I did. No, you didn't, Andrew said. Andrew pushed Michael. Michael pushed Andrew, and our basketball game turned into a wrestling match that was tied.
A voice seemed to come from nowhere. Merry Christmas! The fighting stopped. Hey, it's not Christmas! Michael said Alan Mills was standing in front of us. What happened to that great basketball game I was watching? He asked.
Michael didn't take the ball all the way back out to the foul line, said Andrew. Yes, I did, Michael said. So you boys saw things differently, and then you got angry, said Alan. That's right, Andrew said.
Wouldn't you rather be playing basketball than fighting? Alan asked. Sure, said Michael. Then let's cool off, use our brains, and figure something out. I think Michael should do it over, Andrew said. That would be taking the basket away. That's not fair, said Michael.
I got an idea, I said. This time, we'll decide on Michael's favor. We'll get the points. The next time we disagree, we'll decide on our favor. Okay, Michael said. It's all right with me, said Jose. Andrew picked up the ball. Me too, he said. Let's play some hoops. Merry Christmas, said Alan. And Happy Hanukkah, too, said Andrew.
Chapter 3. Coming home from soccer practice is one hot summer day. I went to the kitchen to get a glass of water. My dad was sitting with his elbows on the table and his hands on his face. I went up close to him and saw that he was crying. I had never seen my dad. I had never seen him cry before. What's the matter, Dad? I asked.
My father looked up at me. He pulled me onto his lap and gave me a big hug. I'm afraid I have some sad news, said Dad. Our friend Alan Mills died of a heart attack last night. My dad and I sat together for a while, quiet and still. I don't understand, I said. Alan had such a kind heart. How can someone with such a kind heart get a heart attack?
There is the heart, and then there's heart, said Dad. The heart is a muscle that pumps blood all over the body. Heart has more to do with how a person feels and behaves. My heart is broken, I said. Mine too, said Dad. Do you remember how Alan Mills always said Merry Christmas to get people to cool off and stop fighting? I asked. Do you? Said Dad. He taught me to do that too. I said. My dad and I sat and felt sad together.
Chapter 4. The couch in the den was empty. Great. I got there first. I sprawled out on the couch and I turned on the TV to watch my favorite show, Space Explorers, with a space captain, Zeke.
Get off that couch, I heard my brother shout. No way, I said. I was here first, Bobby shouted back. I was here first. Then I went into the kitchen to answer the phone, and it was the wrong number. So get off that couch. That's too bad. And I won't, I said.
Usually when Bobby and I watch TV, the first one to the couch gets to lie on it. The other has to sit on the couch with feet on his lap. As far as I was concerned, I got there first. But Bobby had a different opinion. He pulled my arm and my leg until I fell to the ground with a thud. And then he spread his body out on the couch. I climbed on top of him and wrestled him to the ground.
Meanwhile, I was missing the first part of Space Explorers. Merry Christmas, I said. Bobby and I stopped fighting at the same time. Merry Christmas, he said. I'll lie down for 15 minutes, then you lie down for 15 minutes. I said, I want the first 15 minutes, Bobby said. Okay, I agreed.
As I sat on the couch with my brother's feet on my lap, I felt as if Alan Mills was right there in the room with us. And that is the end of the story. And Kalia, did you find it absolutely interesting that when they got to fight and got upset, what did they do?
They said Merry Christmas.
Yeah, to calm everyone down. Because at Christmas time, what happens? Plenty of gifts, plenty of laughter, plenty of people that are just happy and full of love at Christmas time. So it says inside that, you want to say something?
Yeah. Me and Dad were in Des Moines, and when they was talking about Space Explorers, it made me go back to when we went in this space thing at Des Moines.
Oh, at the IMAX
Yeah.
theater, correct. Dear parents, even happy families have sad times. Usually parents and children who have warm, loving relationships with each other enjoy a built-in advantage when it comes to managing the stress caused by painful life events. But this story shows that even in families as close-knit as Little Bill's dealing with the sudden death of a family friend, it's hard for parents and children alike. The whole family loved Mr. Alan Mills, a neighbor and a close friend of Little Bill's father. He is an exceptional man with a special knack for helping angry people solve their problem peacefully through negotiation and compromise. In fact, he can stop an argument just by saying,
Merry Christmas.
something friendly seems to happen to people when they say or hear those words.
Merry Christmas.
When Alan suddenly dies from a heart attack, Little Bill's father is deeply grieved at the first time his son had ever seen him cry. But instead of trying to hold back his tears and act tough, the way old-fashioned fathers often used to, he shares his sorrow with his son, and Little Bill learns that it's natural to cry when your heart is broken. He also discovers that even though Alan is gone, his memories and spirits have stayed with his friends when Little Bill and his brother gets into an argument over whose turn it is to lie on the couch to watch television. They suddenly find themselves employing Alan wisdom instead of getting caught up in a pointless fight and missing their TV show. They stop themselves by saying
Merry Christmas.
to each other, and just saying those words make them feel so much better. They are able to figure out a way to share the couch. Alan Mills has left an important legacy and is fitting tribute in the values and in his life. And that was the end of The Day I Saw My Father Cry. Bill Cosby. It's a scholastic book with how many chapters again? 3?
4.
4 chapters that we have read. And,
Well, one part of my life I never saw you cry before.
I knew for some reason that you was going to say that.
Yeah.
And what part of life was that for?
It was when I was like 9 down. And
9?
Yeah, because when I was 10, I'm 10 right now.
Okay.
9 from whenever I was born. I never saw you cry
Oh.
before.
Yeah. You're correct. And of course, that was when my mom passed. 91 years. Yep. All right, and we'll just go right over with our parent tips to share with you. After the parent tips that we share with you, The Day I Saw My Father Cry, the story, another book that you add to your collection. And our parent tips are coming from Launching Young Readers, one of our Reading Rockets. This is one of my favorite parent tips from Reading Rockets that I do like to share. And read about it, talk about it, and think about it. Find ways for your child to be understanding the ultimate goal of learning how to read. And even you guys' last week of school, are you still reading?
Yep.
What is that called again, that you have to read so many minutes?
Oh, it's reading bingo.
Reading bingo. And a lot of schools have reading activities to
Logs.
do, reading, because the other school that you were doing what?
Reading logs.
Reading logs. So now you're doing reading bingo. Okay, I was just making sure. Make books special. Turn books and reading into something special by taking your kid to the library. That is always a number one tip. Helping them get their own library card, reading with them, and buying them books as gifts. Have a favorite place for books in your home, or even better, put books everywhere.
Dad, I want a book.
You want a book
Mhm.
for?
It's this Dork Diary new book.
And you were reading that a couple times, Dark Diaries. Which one is this one?
It's the brand new one. I don't know the title, but it's brand new.
Okay. You have to share that with us and see, there you go. Instead of them giving you a toy, excuse me, instead of them giving you a toy, you got a free book. And so, in your coming up summertime, you have to read that book to us and share some of the stories with us.
Yep.
So getting them to read another one, find ways to encourage your child to keep picking up another book. You could, for an example, introduce him or her to a book series like The Boxcar Children, or you can either do, which is my favorite book, Harry Potter, or to a second series, book by a favorite author. Ask teachers, librarians, and others for recommendations that match your child's interest and reading level, or look for suggestions on www.readingrockets.org. You could even buy a subscription in your child's name to a magazine that comes regularly in the mail. Don't you have one regularly? Yeah.
It's My American Girl magazine.
Okay. And those are just, she gave you My American Girl, but just to keep them reading, that sparks a kid's attention when they find something that comes in the mail from anything, and yours would be a magazine. That could be your child as well. And are we there yet? Use the time spent in the car or bus for wordplay. You can talk about how jam means something you put on toast, as well as cars stuck in traffic. How many other can you child think of, or when kids are highly familiar with the meaning of a word, they have less difficulty in reading it. So have you noticed that when you are practicing a lot of words, and then when it's time for you to read the book, it's more easier for you to read that book because you had just practiced that word?
Yep.
Yeah. So crack open the dictionary. This was another tip that I shared with my listening audience. The dictionary. Do you even know what a dictionary is, Miss Kalia?
Yeah. It's boring.
Why do you say it like that? Yeah, it's boring. Tell me the difference. You know, when you look up a word, where do you go to now? This is going to be so exciting for me to hear.
The phone.
The phone. Google. You can look the word up when you can just go to the dictionary and find your word right there.
It's too many pages.
It's too many what?
Pages over.
If we don't use the dictionary, you know, it's just going to fade away soon.
I used my dictionary at school.
So you can let your child see you using a dictionary instead of using that phone or Google. I'm not sure what that word means. I think I'll look it up. So you can go to the dictionary. Next time I'll go to the dictionary with you. First drafts are rough. Give your child encouragement where he or she is doing homework or doing a writing assignment. Remind your child that writing involves several steps like planning, composing an initial draft, revising, and final editing. No one does perfectly the first time, and that is true.
Yep, because you helped me with a writing assignment one time too.
Yeah, and it was not perfect, correct? I had to keep going back over until I got it correct. So, different strokes for different folks. Read different types of books to expose your child to a different type of writing. Stories, for an example, are often organized around characters or setting and a plot, while non-fiction books are usually organized around main ideas followed by details. Some kids, especially boys, prefer non-fiction books. Talk about what you see and do. Talk about everyday activities. help build your child's background knowledge, which is crucial to listening and reading. Comprehension keeps up on a running pattern. For an example, while cooking together, take your child someplace new and talk about what you see, or discuss the movie or television show you just watched together.
You discussed it at the museum.
What?
You discussed it to Mom. You discussed it to her.
Yeah.
Yeah, you talked about it.
Oh, yes, the museum in Des Moines, correct?
Yes.
Yeah. We should have brought that, because I can't even remember the correct name. I'm just saying the IMAX Center in Des Moines. I don't know if that's correct. But anyway, it was a science center in Des Moines.
Yeah.
Teach your child teach your child some mind tricks. Huh. I don't know this one, but let's read it, see what it gives us. You can give your child tips for figuring out the meaning of what he or she reads. Show your child how to summarize a story in a few sentences, for an example, or how to make predictions about what might happen next. Both strategies help a child comprehend and remember. After reading the story together, think out loud so your child can see how you summarize and predict. Say something like, I bet DW would have eaten some more if she had known that it was spinach. So we can look at this book and say, for instance, Bill Cosby, The Day I Saw My Father Cry.
Yep.
So I was thinking that maybe, yeah, I did think when I saw this that somebody must have passed in Bill Cosby's life for this story. And true enough, it was the neighbor.
Alan Mills.
Who we really liked. Because what did he tell us to do? If we got upset in an argument, he told us to say what?
Hey, Dad, Merry Christmas.
Yeah. So, young children learn the meaning of most words by listening to people talk. But as they grow older and what they read becomes an even more important source of new vocabulary. Many words, in fact, are regularly heard in everyday speech. Why is having a large vocabulary important?
Because it helps us write better,
Grammar.
grammar.
Good, okay. Because knowing what individual words mean goes a long way toward helping the child understand what a sentence or paragraph means. Talking and reading about stories and events helps kids to build their own vocabulary and comprehension skills, but some kids have a difficult time understanding what they read because of what are actually poor word decoding skills. They simply do not see that the written word, for an example, is a nonsense word, while the word for is not. Other kids have problems with comprehension in general, both listening and reading. These kids need a lot of practice summarizing key points, predicting what might happen next, and figure out what an unfamiliar word might mean through context. Children can be taught how to monitor their own comprehension while reading to the activity and to try to make some sense in the text. The tips above offer some ways to keep reading fun and to build your child's vocabulary and to understand if you suspect your child is having problems with reading, it is an important act to follow through. So we have to make sure that we keep on reading. You can go to this once again to www.readingrockets.com so we can check that out. I love Reading Rockets. Reading Rockets just brings it more out to me.
I actually like rockets.
Well, I don't like rockets, but it's just the key word, Reading Rockets. Take off with reading. And so, and my favorite one was the dictionary. We need to start using the dictionary more. And so, what happens if your phone doesn't work? Then you can't look up Google. What happens if the computer is down? Just wait till tomorrow?
Yeah. Now, I'll go to the dictionary.
So before we go off, Kalia, you have to do a shout out to a very special person that you know of. Celebration is happening for him Sunday.
Oh, my brother, Caleb.
Is completing
High school.
East High School. So we want to make sure we give East High a shout out and to all of the graduates that is happening. You know, congratulations to you all. And keep reading, because it's good. New reading starts again if they go to college. More difficult reading. So on that note, Clea, you wrapping up the school year, and what are you going to do for the summer?
Go swimming
Swimming. Is there anything
and
else?
read.
Good point. You just saved yourself.
Let me say it, isn't it?
And read. So you getting excited because you're going to a new building
Yep.
and new friends.
I'm scared I'm gonna like lose my locker code. And
Oh, that's why you get a combination.
I'm like, ooh.
You have to remember that number as you won't get into the locker. On that note, parents, love your children. Remember that reading unlocks the doors to the future. And we will see you same time, same place right here on Wednesday.
Bye.
I tried to make it through without coughing and sneezing.
You did. You messed up.
It didn't work. Oh my goodness.
You should have got water.
That's why I went and got water.